So I've been working as a junior doctor for 2 years in the NHS, and let's see how much I was earning. Hello everyone, my name is Serena and I'm a junior doctor. I was previously working in the NHS in the UK for 2 years, and now I'm in Australia working here for a year. For those of you who are just here for the final numbers, please feel free to use the timestamps in the description below to skip ahead to the relevant sections. So before we jump straight into it, why am I making this video? Well, there's 4 reasons. Firstly, transparency. As I get older, I realise how important it is to talk about our money. I wish it was spoken about a bit more as I was growing up. I feel there are a lot of cultural and societal barriers to talking about it, and we all inherently feel very private about money matters. But then you grow up and you realise you have no idea what you're doing and you have to figure it out as you go along. With transparency comes honest and useful discussions, which can only be a good thing. That leads me to my second point, which is about good financial health. In my preparation for this video, I found that it finally forced me to confront my earnings, understand what my payslip actually means, and see what my trajectory is likely to be for the future to help me plan for the future. Ever since I started earning, I've just buried my head in the sand, and I know lots of other people are in similar situations, so I hope this video encourages you to find out what's going on with your money and how best you can use it. Thirdly, I think this video is very important educationally. When I was in medical school, I didn't really question what my earnings would be, nor was it spoken about very much. So if you are someone considering medicine, currently in medical school, or an international graduate hoping to come and work in the UK as a doctor, I hope this video will shed some light on what you can expect financially from a career as a doctor in the UK. And finally, I think it's important for people in the industry to help clear up the misunderstandings that the newspapers and the media like to rile up around doctors and the NHS. So I just want to put aside all those speculations and just present you with some facts. Okay, I think that's all my introing done, so without further ado, let's jump straight into my paycheck. Here is my paycheck for January 2021. There is a lot going on, I know, so let's just break it down step by step. At the top here is my basic yearly salary, which is £32,691. Basic pay includes my standard working hours, which as per my contract is 40 hours a week, which is your normal Monday to Friday 9 to 5. This pay is based on a specific pay point based on your grade or how senior you are. As you can see from this table, the higher your grade, the higher your pay. This graded system applies to all doctors of all specialities in the NHS. The basic pay you receive will correlate to your grade level in that table. A small exception to this is for junior doctors working in London. They receive a London premium to account for the more expensive living costs, and I believe this adds on around £2,162 a year. Going back to my paycheck, let's have a look at the components that make up my salary. The first row is basic pay, which is based on my 40-hour week as per my contract. In this month, I worked just over 173 hours, and I was paid at £15.67 an hour pre-tax, and for that I earned £2,724.25p. The next row is for additional hours. These aren't extra hours that I opted to do, these are extra hours that I have to do that are built into my weekly and monthly rosters. Although our contracts state we work 40 hours a week, it also states that we can work a maximum of 48 hours a week on average. What that means is some weeks I might be doing way more hours, so 5 night shifts that are 12 hours plus each are about 60 hours that week. But the following week I might have quite a few days off, known as 0 days, which will reduce the number of hours in that week, and therefore you average around 48 hours a week over the course of a month and your year. In this month I worked an additional 28.24 hours, and for this I was paid also at £15.67 an hour, which totaled £442.69p. The next row represent the pay I receive for my night shifts. Night shifts are paid at a premium of 37% extra of your normal basic pay. But in this month, I worked 24.99 hours of night shifts, which will roughly be 2 night shifts. And because the basic hourly rate of pay is already accounted for in my basic salary, this row represents only that 37% extra premium. 37% of 24.99 is 9.24 hours of additional pay, also paid at £15.67 an hour, totaled £144.90 that I made this month for doing night shifts. The next row down is my weekend pay. Working on the weekends attracts extra pay too, and it is worked out depending on your frequency of weekends you work. So the maximum you can do is 1 in 2 weekends, which is every other weekend. It goes up to 1 in 3, 1 in 4, and so on. In this month, it says I was doing in between 1 in 2 and 1 in 4 weekends, whatever that means. And that resulted in £204.32 this month. Finally, this month includes one extra row, which doesn't feature often in my paychecks, but that's why I chose this one to show you all the ways we can get paid, and that is locum pay. Now, locum shifts are ad hoc shifts that you pick up in your free time, basically, and they are paid at quite a premium. Hospitals put out locum shifts when they need rota gaps filling, when they're understaffed, so they are a little bit more desperate for doctors to come and work then, and that attracts a higher pay. This is paid at £35 an hour pre-tax in my hospital, although this varies wildly across the country. This month I was paid £400 for my locum shifts, which at £35 an hour works out at around a 12-hour shift, so probably just one shift. So my total earnings for this month were £3,662.60. But unfortunately, that's not the money that actually came into my bank account that month, because there are lots of deductions before that money gets to me. So let's have a look at that now. The first column here is basically the tax I pay. This month, £524 of my earnings went to tax. The next row stands for national insurance, which pays for state benefits such as pensions and the NHS, so I guess I'm just paying myself here. This month, £374.90 went to national insurance. Next is the deduction for the NHS pension scheme. The NHS run a separate pension scheme to the state pension scheme, and this month I contributed £253.36 to that. Finally, I throw a measly nod to my massive student debt, which I paid for the pleasure of 2 degrees and crushingly low self-esteem for the rest of my life. In the interest of transparency, let's have a look at how much debt I have in total. I don't even know what my payments are achieving at this point. The interest rate of this loan is 1.5%, I believe, so my contributions are barely just tackling that. Let's just move on. So, total deductions for this month were £1,305.26. Grand total for what actually went into my bank account for this month of working was £2,610.90. No, not cents. I've been in Australia for too long. I took the liberty of adding up all the hours I worked this month, which was roughly 230 hours. I then worked out my hourly post-tax rate, which, because I did that locum shift, is a little bit skewed, but was roughly between £10 and £11 an hour post-tax. This is a pretty good representation of what I was earning monthly in my whole year as an FY2 doctor, although, as I mentioned, there's a bit of supplemental income this month with that locum shift, which I didn't always do. There are also some extra deductions which aren't on the paycheck, but I think might as well be, which I will discuss at the end of this video. Right, into the next part of this video, and we're going to fast forward about 10 years of specialty training and then 10 years of consultancy ahead of that, and see what a consultant surgeon is currently earning in the NHS. So here it is, here is the paycheck. It is quite similarly laid out to my junior doctor one, but there are some key differences, so we'll break it down and have a closer look. Again, here at the top we have the basic salary. It is £104,000 and 584 pence. Similar to the grading system I showed you for junior doctors, there is also one for consultants. As you can see in this table, the pay increases depending on the number of years you've been a consultant. This pay applies to all consultants in the NHS, regardless of your speciality. So if we refer from the basic salary shown in this paycheck back to this table, you can see that this is a salary you'd expect for somewhere between 9 and 14 years of being a consultant. The first key difference you will see in this pay slip is that up here, instead of saying 40 hours like it did in my paycheck, it actually says 10 hours. So are consultants making all this money for working 10 hours a week? Absolutely not. This actually stands for 10 PAs, which are programmed activities. They represent any clinical work such as theatre lists, ward work, running clinics, doing admin. One PA is 4.5 hours, which is roughly about half a day. A full-time NHS consultant is expected to do 10 PAs, which results in 5 full days, so basically a full working week. The first row is basic pay, which, similar to the junior doctor's paycheck, is what you earn for doing your basic contracted hours. So in this case, the 10 PAs a week. This month, that was roughly 43 PAs, paid at £200.57 per PA, which totalled £8,715.33. The components of consultant pay that boost earnings are very different to what we saw in the junior doctor paycheck. The next row is CEA, which stands for Clinical Excellence Award. These are monetary bonuses given to consultants based on them going above and beyond their normal duties, so contributing meaningfully to education, to the services the hospital offers. As you can see in this table, this is ranked in levels, and you earn more the higher the level of award you have. All that meaningful contribution is apparently worth £11.56 per PA, so that totals £502.67 added on to this month's earnings. This next row is a very fascinating one for me. This is pay you get for taking part in educational activities, such as being a clinical supervisor or educational supervisor to your junior doctors. And this is total to be 4.5 PAs over the month, so roughly 1 per week. This is paid at a whopping rate of £921.80 per PA, which adds on £4,144.41 to this month's paycheck. So if you are a fellow junior doctor like me and your ES or CS is not replying to your emails, do make sure you keep hassling them to make sure you're getting your money's worth. The next row is locum shifts, which, similarly to junior doctors, you can pick up these extra shifts and do them in your own free time, and you get paid at a slight premium. So in the case of a surgeon, perhaps they're doing an extra list or running an extra clinic to get through the patient load. It's something that will be worked out between the hospital and them. For this month, this earned an additional £3,100, and from what I understand, this is roughly around 4 extra PAs that month. This final row, also specific to consultants, is for on-call pay. This is paid at an additional 3 to 8% of your basic salary, depending on your frequency of on-calls. This month, it added on £435.77. So total earnings this month were £16,898.18. But you know what's coming next. It's time to humble ourselves and go through all the deductions. Looking at the deduction column, the first row is again the tax row. And in this bracket of earning, you move into the next bracket of tax, and you're now being taxed at 40%. So for this month, it was £5,833.90. The next column is the national insurance column, and this month was £659.62. Final column is the NHS pension. In this month, it was £1,303.26. This makes the total deductions for this month to be £7,796.78, which makes the total take-home salary for this month, the money that actually comes into the bank account, £9,101.40. Before I finish, I want to talk about some extra income and extra outgoings that I don't think we talk enough about. So extra income, already mentioned and shown you locum shifts, which can be a good way to supplement your income, but obviously it relies on using your spare time. Another one specific to consultants is private practice. The NHS is obviously a public healthcare system, and it's wonderful for that, but there is also a private sector in the UK which consultants can work in. Next, outgoings. Remember I said that there were some deductions that I think might as well be part of the paycheck, but they're not. There are lots of expenses and fees that you have to pay to be a doctor. and I'm just going to quickly go through the ones I paid during my FY2 year. So I had to pay for registration for my medical license with the GMC, the General Medical Council, and this year I paid £156. We also have to pay for our medical indemnity, which this year was £20. I also pay for being a member of my union, which is the British Medical Association, which this year totaled £240. As you begin to choose your speciality and specialise, you have to do exams and courses and conferences which are necessary for career progression. So this year I paid £550 to do the first part of my surgical exam, the MRCS Part A. I also paid £473 for a surgical skills course, £110 to go to a breast surgery conference, and £15 to be an affiliate member of the Royal College of Surgeons. I'm not going to go into the specifics of the expenses of a consultant, but by this point you are paying hundreds of pounds for your GMC fees, indemnity, for all the courses, exams and things you've had to do to get to that point, as well as your membership fees to whatever Royal College you belong to as well. So the outgoings become pretty significant at this point. So that's it. That is my monthly earnings as an FY2 doctor and my projected earnings if I continue to pursue a career in surgery. So what did you think? Was that more or less than you were expecting? Let me know in the comments below, and do make sure to like this video. If you liked this video, then I'm planning on comparing my NHS paychecks with my current Australian paychecks, which I think you will find very interesting. So do make sure to subscribe if you want to find out about that. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! So regardless of your speciality, sorry, a bird just flew past. This pay is based on a specific point. Solid.